The 49ers look to sweep the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. And guess what, Jason Aponte? The 49ers are the healthy team. We'll talk about it on the other side of the song. We are live with a new Sprint Ride Option podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by Jason Aponte. And Jason, I just want to get it out of the way up top. Congratulations on Aaron Judge MVP.
Yeah, much rather have a ring. I think he feels the same exact way. But
I think he does too.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh had a very good season, but I don't know. I don't feel better about the season because Aaron Judge won MVP.
It's always fun when baseball does their awards 2 weeks after the season ends, when the season's just lost all momentum. But that's okay. I just wanted to be probably the last to congratulate you on watching an MVP campaign.
Well, the thing is like, I guess the only thing that I'm happy about is how mad people are that Aaron Judge won, but
yeah,
he deserved it. He was the best player. I mean, the most home runs by anybody who's ever won a batting title, literally leading him in every single statistical category. Like, you made it seem like they gave the MVP to Altuve instead of Aaron Judge in 2017. So it's okay, guys. I mean, you can call it East Coast bias, but Aaron Judge was the best baseball player all through 2025, and the numbers bear that out.
They tried to do the positional value thing with Big Dumper hitting 60 home runs as a catcher, which I understand, but Raleigh was the better story, obviously, just because he's a Mariner. And what would stats tell you? What have the Mariners done recently? Not much. Obviously the better story, but Aaron Judge, the better player. But Jason, we're here to talk San Francisco 49ers football. I just wanted to congratulate you because that is a cool little feat. Getting to watch an MVP is cool. Haven't done that since Posey back in 2012. Niners, Cardinals on Sunday. The 6-4 Niners take on the 3-6 Cardinals. The last time these two teams met, it was a different situation. The Niners win 16-15 over the Cardinals. The Niners had their backup quarterback, Mac Jones, start that game. The Cardinals had their starting quarterback, Kyler Murray, start that game. Roles are reversed on Sunday as the Niners will be with Brock Purdy for the first time since week 4. Against Jacoby Brissett, and all credit Jacoby Brissett, man, the backup for the Cardinals. He's done pretty well. He's done pretty well in his 4 games now. Arizona obviously getting blown out last week by Seattle. Seattle's very, very good. I'm a little sad the Niners play at the same time as that Rams Seahawks game because that's probably the game. It's probably the game of the day slate because I think the game of the weekend is that Sunday night game between the Lions and the Eagles. So that'll be fun. But the Niners, Cardinals, it's Jason, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say this sentence probably a lot the next 4 weeks. This feels like the first must win of the season for the 49ers.
This is the biggest game of the season right here. And I don't care who's on the other side. The 49ers have to win games. And when you look at the quality of opponents, realistically, we know this is the NFL. So you can probably say, there's going to be a game where you stumble. 3-1 is attainable. 4-0 is absolutely right there. So, if you get 4-0 in these next 4 with everybody healthy and rolling, you're 10-4. You're going to make the playoffs. So, it's right there in front of them. My favorite Aaron Boone saying, you usually want to say best case scenario 4-0. 3-1 feels very realistic. That Cleveland game is the one that's still it just scares the shit out of me, man. I can't stand that game already. I think it's already a stupid game. But if the 49ers go 4-0, look, 10-4. So it's all right there in front of them, and they have a chance to really put themselves in position in the driver's seat against teams that they should beat, and especially with the quarterback that they paid a bunch of money, their first round rookie wide receiver. I mean, their second year first round rookie. Second year receiver, Ricky Pearsall. Jesus Christ.
There we go.
George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. You have enough. No more excuses. Offense, go get it fucking done.
Yeah, and then first of all, I really like how a Week 13 game is in Jason Aponte's head, and it's been in his head for about 3 weeks already. So I like how the Browns are just right there. I really like that.
I hated it when the schedule came out. I hate it even more moving into
I remember talking about it back in May, being like, "Hey, there's no weird weather games except potentially November 30th at Cleveland, and we're almost there, Jason." But yeah, like that's exactly why this is a must win for multiple reasons. if you can win the next 4 games in a row and get to 10 wins, you feel very good about a playoff spot. 10 wins usually gets you in the playoffs. If you slip up one of these games and then you go at Indianapolis, Chicago, Seattle, which with the way the Niners defense is in, could be an 0-3 stretch. Obviously, we're still very far away from that. 9 wins doesn't feel like it gets you in. It's a tighter squeeze. But then also, the reason this one specifically is a must win is the offense is back. Brock Purdy's back. Ricky Pearsall's back. Everybody's back. This is the healthiest the offense has been all year. Still not as healthy as they can be because we're still waiting on Brandon Ayuk. And if you're still waiting on Brandon Ayuk, probably going to be waiting a while. But it's just, this is not a good Arizona team. Arizona is missing Marvin Harrison and Zay Jones, 2 very important pieces of that
and
offense.
Who else?
Did I miss one?
Will Johnson, Jonah Williams, Browning. Like, do you realize what the Arizona Cardinals are missing in this game? Like the first ones that jump out are Marvin Harrison and Zay Jones. These defensive losses for them, my God, they are like, this is what the 49ers were feeling like a few weeks ago. But these are brand name players on this team that are not going to be playing on Sunday.
Yeah, it's the whole out list for Arizona is Baron Browning, Marvin Harrison, Will Johnson, Dadrion Taylor Demerson, Jonah Williams, Mac Wilson, and there's one more down here, Hayden Connor. So 2 parts of the offensive line out. 2 receivers. I mean, 2 of the most important receivers, I would say. Obviously, Trey McBride, very important, but he's not a receiver. But Zay Jones and Marvin Harrison leading the almost said the Browns. They're in my head, Jason. You got them there. Leading the Cardinals in yards per reception, both with 15 yards per reception. So like they're very key pieces, but this is a very, very injured Arizona team, and it feels kind of nice to be on this side of the gun because the Niners' only reported injury right now is Diamador Lenore, who's questionable with a calf injury that popped up at practice on Thursday. He did not practice today, so we'll see what that looks like come Sunday. Feels kind of nice to be on this side of the injury conversation for once.
Yeah, and if we're thinking about seeing the ball go through the hoop, potential rust for Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, but against a team that historically plays you close all the time, all the time with Arizona. But when you look at who's there, how you can exploit it, how this offense has been running, this offense should have no problems moving the football. And even better news is they should be able to run the football in this game, which is going to drastically help them in this one. The 49ers offense is going to be, and I wrote about it, but it hasn't come out yet. The 49ers offense is going to be the driving force for the rest of the season. They're either going to have to, in certain games, play keep away or just be in track meets. They have to play as close to perfect as possible. And I hate to put those expectations on them, but when your defense cannot get stops, when your defense is unreliable, this is where you're going to have to be. And I'm not asking for anything super crazy, but this group that is going to be playing has played 1 drive together this season, and it was a 95-yard touchdown drive punctuated by a George Kittle touchdown against Seattle in week 1. This is going to be the way the 49ers have to win games. It's got to be through the offense. Brock, Ricky, you're back. Let's go. That's it.
Yeah, and I don't want to put high expectations, but this with the situation of the Niners offense as healthy as it is and the Cardinals defense missing some pretty key pieces, this almost feels like it needs to be one of the better offensive performances of the season. And then obviously there is going to be some rust with Purdy. We'll see what that looks like. What I'm looking for is no turnovers, because that's what Mac Jones gave you a lot of, right? He threw a couple interceptions here and there, but his interception rate was pretty low. Brock Purdy, he's kind of turned into this turnover player. He's been making a lot more turnovers compared to his first season, compared to the next 2 seasons we've seen from him. I just want to see a clean game from Purdy, and I want to see one where he comes out healthy. Like, obviously, I want to see him come out healthy because I know how good he can be. I know how good this offense can be with him, and I think that's why people like Mac Jones, is because there wasn't a significant drop-off. It might maybe a slight drop-off. There wasn't a significant drop-off. And so now if Purdy comes in and starts turning the ball over, that's only going to raise questions. So this almost has to be a clean offensive performance for the 49ers just because of everything going. If Arizona was healthier on defense, I would maybe give a little more leeway. Obviously, you want to win the game. Strawberry, thank you. I mentioned 7 turnovers, 8 games, totally fine. I mentioned he has been making more turnovers. I was waiting for the exact number. I appreciate it. But with how healthy the Niners offense is now compared to this Arizona defense, and it's not just on Purdy, it's on Pearsall, it's on McCaffrey, it's on Kittle, it's on everybody on this offense. This almost has to be one of your better games of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at the path to victory, run the football, throw the football short. You don't have to necessarily get out of your element. If you're talking about a soft landing, this is the softest landing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got numbers to back all this up. So the Cardinals rank 18th in the NFL, 114.1 rushing yards per game. Over their last 4, they've allowed over 120 rushing yards 3 times. 94 was the lowest to Green Bay in Week 7. 150 to Jonathan Taylor, who's going to win Offensive Player of the Year. In 123 to Dallas, 198 to Seattle. Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. And then throwing the football underneath, they've only seen short passes for 66.1%, which is 21st in the league. But the defensive EPA allowed on short passes is 23rd. So here's the big brain idea. This is going to be a Christian McCaffrey game, and you don't really have to do too much, Brock Purdy, other than operate the offense. Let's get rolling. Let's get you moving. But this should be a game where the running game gets on track. Christian McCaffrey, Brian Robinson, play action, under center, hit them over the top when you get those opportunities. But it doesn't have to be hero ball as long as you control the football and run the football like you should.
And I think something that helps Purdy as well is Arizona's really not been the best at getting at the quarterback. They have the 11th lowest pressure rate on defense this year, 18.6 pressure rate. You compare that to, and I mean, I think this is a healthy comparison to make considering Kyle Shanahan said Purdy could have played on Sunday against the Rams. The Rams are up at like 24% pressure rate. And one of the big things that makes Purdy, and one of the things that makes him better than Mac Jones is his mobility. And how hampered is that mobility going to be coming off of this toe injury? And this Arizona defense just hasn't been getting after the quarterback. The Niners offensive line has allowed a pressure on 20% of dropbacks, which is a pretty high number. It's 18th in the league in terms of best. So it's 14th worst, so middle of the league. But Arizona did generate 19 pressures on 43 dropbacks in week 3. So it really, I'm curious. I think that's the first thing I'm going to be curious to see, Jason, is how Purdy responds to any pressure, because we know how mobile he can be. I threw out a tweet the other day that what if Purdy gets a 20-yard run before Christian McCaffrey, which is possible because Purdy does have that. He's usually that like 6 to 8 yard kind of guy, but he can get 20 yards if he has enough space. So I'm curious to see how he looks moving on that toe, especially considering the last time we saw him, he wasn't 100% healthy. It felt like he was rushed back. Now the Niners, it feels like they took their time with him returning. So I'm curious to see if the mobility is going to be the same what we're used to.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan said that if he can't run and move like he used to, then why even put him out there? Then that means he isn't healthy,
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, at the other side of his mouth, he's saying it's not going to be 100% healthy. So I'm not sure where I land on this. I do think that you can avoid all of that by running the football, throwing quickly, understanding that you have matchups. Play action is going to help a lot. You may not have to really move around in this game, which makes this such an appealing opponent for Purdy and Pearsall to get back. So yeah, I mean, I think if you just stick with the game plan, you just control the football, kind of beat them down all game running the football, play action under center, and throw the football in the middle of the field and identify those quick throws and get them out. I don't really think there should be much for Purdy to run around for. And that's really what you're hoping for, is just, hey, an easy day at the office, which I think it can be.
We've talked a lot about Purdy. I want to talk about Pearsall for a second, because obviously, like if we have to talk about which receiver falls off the depth chart, it's Sky Moore, right? It's going to be Sky Moore. He's going to be the guy who doesn't get as many offensive looks because of Ricky Pearsall. Maybe he gets in, but what I'm curious about, Jason, is how it affects Jawan Jennings, because Jawan Jennings has kind of felt like he's been in a weird spot with the Niners the past few weeks. Obviously, he had a decent game against the Rams. But now he steps back into that receiver 2, because I'm assuming Pearsall is going to be receiver 1 if we had to like depth chart it. How do you think that split's going to work? Do you think they're going to really work Pearsall on Sunday and try and make him the receiver number one? Or do you see Jennings maybe getting more targets than him on Sunday?
I mean, I hope he doesn't get more targets, but I do think they're going to alternate between X and Z. I don't think that is going to be just straight, Ricky Pearsall running on X. I think they're gonna split snaps at X and Z. They're going to do whatever's best to create advantageous matchups, which is what you should do. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything other than the fact that the 49ers would try to move guys around and try to get them in a spot where they can win. So, you ideally you would like it to be Pearsall and Ayuk, and then, you'd have the big slot that is Juwan Jennings, but I do think they alternate between X and Z, and it'll depend on the type of matchup that they're looking for, and I think down and distance.
And then obviously the big player that this could affect the most with Purdy returning is George Kittle. Jason, just to make me feel good, because this is a George Kittle game.
No, this is a Christian McCaffrey game through and through.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey and Brian Robinson, this is their game, man. Run the football. Like, don't fuck around. Run the football. Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker haven't been very successful running the football. They destroyed them to the tune of almost 200 yards rushing. Run the fucking football. Like, don't overthink this, man. And don't just make Christian McCaffrey run the football. Use Brian Robinson, get creative, show more of that crack toss, pin and pull that you were doing with him. This is a run the football game. So Brian Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, this is your game, and this is one of those games where I see Shanahan trying to get to 40 rushes. This isn't going to be a George Kittle game. This is going to be a George Kittle blocking game. Sure, he'll make some catches, but for me, I think this is really just very simple. You're watching them get destroyed week after week, running the football, get the running game back on track, ease Brock into this, and get back to playing the football that you can when you have this advantageous matchup.
Let's flip sides of the ball now. Jason talked a lot about the offense, but for good reason. The Niners offense is getting all those players back. Arizona losing two of their best receivers, and Marvin Harrison and Zay Jones. That leaves them with Trey McBride and Michael Wilson as their two top target receivers. Harrison had 62 targets. Zay Jones has 18 targets this season, but he's been seeing more. He saw 0 last week against Dallas, and then he saw a couple before he got hurt against Seattle. But Zay Jones and Marvin Harrison were the two big play guys, both averaging over 15 yards per reception. Obviously, Jason, with how injured the Niners defense is, and maybe without Diamador Lenore, I'm not going to pretend like this isn't a massive development for the 49ers. So this kind of feels like a silly question to ask, Jason, but how important is that for the 49ers defense that no Harrison, no Zay Jones?
Oh, it's very important. I think Brissett, everybody who watched Brissett play, he was lighting up Harrison and McBride. And it, people had to like eat some of those Marvin Harrison isn't good at football takes. Might just be that Kyler Murray's fucking bad at football. That's really what it is. So yeah, I mean, obviously, and I think the attention that you draw is what gets McBride those advantageous matchups. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to shut McBride down. I expect him to see the ball thrown to him 15, 16 times. He's going to get to do his own thing. Greg Dortch is somebody that you got to look out for a little bit as well, too. They like to use DeMercado as a passing option. Brissett's not afraid of throwing underneath, but yeah, I think it's a big loss. Now, look, if you're looking for a silver lining, if Diamador Lenore needs a week off, this is it. This is it, man. If you're not feeling well, then don't play, because Darrell Luter and Renardo Green should be fine, taking care of Michael Wilson and everybody else that on the outside. The problem comes in as to who's going to be on McBride. Are they going to start, picking on that zone? And that's why when you look at the PFF numbers and you're like, damn, D Winters is giving this up and Tatum Batoon is giving this up. No, it just means that it was thrown like in their zone behind their head, or in like they're the closest person in that place. It's not like they're one-on-one on McBride, but yeah, you still got to expect McBride to get his. You just got to figure out how to slow it down, make sure that he doesn't get out of control or anything like that. But if you're playing cover 3, then there's going to be those holes, and McBride's been very good at finding them, and Brissett's going to throw him the football a lot. So this isn't something where it's just like, oh, focus on McBride and everything. You can try all you want, but it's like, again, one of those guys. It's like when you're one of those ones, you're gonna get your numbers, and everyone's already focused. Like, nobody wakes up. Again, I'm gonna say it again. Nobody wakes up when they play the Lakers and they're like, "Who's the 77 guy? Why weren't we prepared? And why did he drop 45 on our head?" Just, when you're one of those ones, it's okay to give credit to those guys. And McBride is really good. McBride's been the best tight end in football this season, hands down, not even close.
Something too that I found interesting of Arizona's offense, and I don't know if you'll find it interesting, but Arizona has the 4th longest average drive. Their average drive goes 6.55 plays, which, you don't think of Arizona as an offense that holds on to the ball. Under Brissett in the 4 games, though, they've averaged 7 plays per drive, so they're extending drives a little bit longer with Brissett. But something that's kind of curious, though, is while they're average the 4th most plays per drive, they're only scoring on 39.6% of those drives at 17th, and they're averaging 2.11 points per drive, which is 20th in the league. So they're really good at holding the ball for extended drives, not good at scoring. The Niners, they're not the best at stopping drives. They allow 6.3 plays per drive, which is tied with 6 other teams for 7th most. And we've seen quite a few long scoring drives, especially on the opening drives of games. I think Houston had like a 16-play field goal drive to start their game. The Giants obviously had that one long drive to start their game a couple weeks ago, and the Niners win. And then the Rams had, I think, a 12-play drive to open it. How are the Niners going to, and obviously I think part of the answer is no Marvin Harrison, St. Jones, but how are the Niners going to prevent these long drives from continuing, especially against a team that's been pretty good at having long drives this season?
Is cutting down their opportunities on offense. I mean, you can't really do anything if you're touching the ball 4 and 5 times because you're holding the ball away from them. You don't have to play keep away with Arizona's defense, but you do have to protect. I mean, with Arizona's offense, but you do have to protect your defense. You don't want to start to see this thing kind of circle down the drain when guys are just getting their ass whipped every single week, and you start to feel like, hey, Jacoby Brissett's putting it on our head now, and it's like, damn, this isn't even an offense that you really should be scared of. But yeah, control the football. Like George Kittle said, you gotta keep holding onto the football, give your defense some breathers, give that defensive coordinator some time to really change things up. You can't just be going 3 and out. I really don't even like the idea of like quick scores. Like if you score on a 75-yarder, cool, we're gonna feel good about that, but you're still putting the defense back out there, very fast. So you got to find that middle ground of explosives and still keeping your defense fresh and protecting them. And you also don't want to see their confidence erode because they're getting their ass whipped week after week. So yeah, just control the football and that's it. And make Jacoby Brissett turn into a guy where you're scoring over and over. Their game plan of running the football makes them one-dimensional. Now go get them, and now you are far more equipped to handle that because, like I said last week, the defensive line was the best group on the field. 16 pressures. If you do that again this time, especially with 2 missing offensive linemen, you're going to be very successful against Jacoby Brissett.
One more thing I noticed just before we get into preview and predictions and all that fun stuff, Jason. The Cardinals have played a lot of one-possession games. All 7 of their games before the bye week were one-possession games. They went 2 and 5 in that stretch. Under Jacoby Brissett, though, they had back-to-back one-possession losses to Indianapolis and Green Bay, which are 2 pretty good teams. Maybe not the Packers. Packers are weird, man.
I don't know, man. You know what? I don't know if the Packers are good either.
Imagine picking the Packers to win the Super Bowl at the start of the season. Couldn't have been me. It was me. It was me, Jason. But the last 2 weeks, they've not had one-possession games. They had a 10-point win over Dallas, whose defense is suspicious to say the least. And then they get blown out by Seattle, with Seattle scoring 2 touchdowns on the defensive side of the ball. If this does come down to a close game, how concerning is Arizona's close game? I know they're 2 and 5 in one-possession games, but we kind of saw how scrappy they can be in that week 3 game where we felt the Niners were losing the entire time until the final 3 minutes or so. If this gets to, I guess I've been using the term rock fight a lot lately. How concerned are you, especially with Brissett's ability to not turn the ball over in his 5 starts so far?
Yeah, honestly, man, aside from like a here and there game, anytime Arizona and the 49ers link, it's always one of those weird, annoying games, right? But I just feel like, this is a game where you have to distance yourself. You have to separate yourself just based on who's there. Obviously they know you very well, but you have to listen to the defensive coordinator for Arizona talk about Kyle Shanahan, man. And for anybody who is skeptical about Kyle Shanahan, I want you to know about what the league thinks of him. And he talks about you're already behind trying to get there with Kyle Shanahan in that offense. And he's like, I hate these weeks. He goes, and I tell my coaches who are watching, please try to find something. Like, familiarity is fine. But the league is always afraid, and they're up at night when it's Kyle Shanahan. Now, when it's Kyle Shanahan and Brock and Ricky Pearsall and Kittle and Jawan Jennings and Christian McCaffrey, yeah, you're starting to get yourself back into a spot where, yeah, you should be able to put this one away pretty early, and your defense should make enough plays in this game where it doesn't have to come down to that. Either way, if it does, I still think the 49ers are equipped to walk away. Shocker, I'm picking them to win this game.
Oh yeah, no, I think I am too. It's as I said, it's an important game for the Niners, and the offense is back, so I think they shouldn't have any issues scoring with what they have. Obviously, you want Ayuk back at some point, but that's just not the reality. But Ricky Pearsall being there to be able to stretch the field vertically, which just feels like the Niners just haven't had that recently, which people wanted to make it a Mac Jones thing. I just really think it was the receivers he had at hand, which that's not a conversation we need to have today.
It's
a little bit of both, but Brock
both.
Purdy's back, Jason. So maybe and Pierce also maybe we see a little bit more stretching vertically. Do you have any final thoughts before we run down through the Week 11 slate and make our predictions?
No, honestly, again, if you're running the football, then you're gonna get yourself in a spot where you can actually go to play action and under center the Cardinals defense has actually been good under center, but it's where the 49ers are going to be able to make their money, which is middle of the field. I have the number right here in front of me, actually. Give me a second. It is their EPA per play on middle of the field throws, 0.35, which is 18th in the NFL. The 49ers attack the middle of the field more than anyone in the league, 27.6%. The play action is going to create those advantageous throws to Kittle. You're going to see those backside digs from Ricky Pearsall. You're going to see the offense pop a little bit more. There will be some more explosives, but it all starts with the running game, and you're going to be able to start from there. You're going to be able to run the football to actually throw it now in this one, and you got to hit them with play action, which the 49ers haven't been using at all this year. Everything has been pretty much drop back. I think this is the least I've ever seen a 49ers team use play action. Everything has been straight drop backs. So now you can get back to that and create some easy throws. You can get those linebackers moved up. You can get those windows in the middle of the field open for digs and crossers and all those things. I just think that this offense is set up in a great way to take advantage, hit the ground running, soft landing, and if there is a little rust, shake that off pretty quickly and get ready to get rolling, because they need to roll these next 4 games.
Perfect. I like it, Jason Aponte. We'll get our predictions here in a minute. Let's run through the Week 11 slate. 2 teams on bye this week. It's the Colts and the Saints. So we have a pretty full slate of games. Jason, one final game overseas in Madrid. The Commanders take on the Dolphins. Jason, I don't know. I'm kind of in on the Dolphins at this point. Like not in as a playoff team, but I feel like they've improved these past couple of weeks. The Commanders kind of feel like they're on the downslide on the other direction. Marcus Mariota has been whatever. That defense is not good in Washington. So I'm going to take the Dolphins out in Madrid.
Battle of the Hawaiian quarterbacks, which is pretty cool as well too. Marcus Mariota and Tua Tagovailoa. But yeah, you know what, man? We have to have a conversation about Washington and how they built this roster, Adam Peters. I thought you were the man. I thought you were the genius. Everything looks easy when the quarterback is playing out of his mind and you have a top 3 pick. And if you didn't take Jaden Daniels, you might have ended up with Drake May. But this roster is aging, old. You had your issues with Terry McLaurin. They look bad on defense. They're getting their ass kicked. Javon Kinlaw's punching referees. Yeah, man, it's done, for Washington. We're going to have a talk about frauds real quick and see what happens next season. But yeah, you know what? The Dolphins are hot right now. They're running the football. They're throwing the football. Tua's been playing well. Give me the Dolphins.
It's funny. I listened to part of my take, and one of them, PFT, he's a big Commanders fan, and he was like, I did some reflecting on what kind of went wrong with this team, and he specifically said, I kind of landed on Adam Peters hasn't done much other than draft Jaden Daniels, and
yeah,
that was kind of silly to hear.
Such a genius, man. I mean, such a genius. And now that we figured out that he loves Drake Jackson, he's the reason that Drake Jackson was here. That's why somebody's like, well, you didn't trade your pick so you could draft another Drake Jackson. I was like, I wouldn't worry about that. Adam Peters is in Washington, actually. It's like it's good to get some clarity, because it was realistically every single good pick was Adam Peters. Every bad pick was Colin John. A lot of the Adam Peters picks are bad, and now you're seeing it press itself out in Washington.
The Panthers head to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. The last time these 2 teams met, the Falcons were destroyed 30-0. I am going to just completely ignore that. I think Atlanta's going to win. I think Carolina had their fun little couple of weeks where it felt like maybe they could be a fringe playoff team. I feel like they've come back down to earth. Atlanta is still not in a great spot, but I think after a 30-0 blowout loss, I think you're a little extra motivated. You're at home in Atlanta. I'm going to take the Falcons.
If Drake London plays, then for sure. But yeah, either way, I'm still gonna pick Atlanta. I hope that he plays. My fantasy teams hopes that he plays, but he's been electric, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the Atlanta does some really cool shit, man, with lining up Bijan Robinson at running back. I mean, in the slot, using Tyler Algier in the backfield, and the offense and the defense has no idea what's going on. Zach Robinson, offshoot of the McVay thing. It's a copycat league, Kyle Shanahan. Let's take some looks at this and let's try to figure that out.
Next game, the Buccaneers against the Buffalo Bills. I would say a high pressure game for the Bills, especially with what's going on.
Bills
with
are falling behind.
The Bills are falling quite behind. I mean, New England's won 8 games in a row. They're 8-2, 9-2 on the season at this point. The Bills just kind of they got their win against the Chiefs, which is pretty cool. But it's the games they should be winning that they're not winning right now. The Dolphins. Who was the other one? Was it the Falcon? No, it was the. Who was their other?
They lost to the Falcons.
Yes, it was the Falcons, and they had another pretty bad loss as well. I'm going to take Tampa Bay. I don't know, something about Buffalo this year just hasn't been right, and Tampa Bay, they might be getting Bucky Irving back, so they're starting to get a little healthier. I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen needs a separator, man. You have to help this guy out and get him somebody who can actually separate on the outside. Keon Coleman has not been good. Sorry, Andrew. I didn't, I know that's your Florida State guy, but he just hasn't been good. They need a separator on the outside. Josh Palmer is not it, man. Khalil Shakir is a fine, slot guy. Dalton Kincaid is their separator, and he's a little banged up as well too. Josh Allen needs some help, man. But yeah, Buffalo's in trouble. They're on the ropes here. You know what? Give me the Bucks as well too. I think they go in there. They got enough moxie. Bowles gets it done. And Jamel Dean has been sneaky good on the outside. So don't expect Keon Coleman to break out anytime soon.
You go to this game for 14 whole American dollars. It is the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans, an AFC South showdown. That is the game of the week. I don't know how you type that out, but that's what it is. I'm gonna go Houston because Tennessee stinks.
Davis Mills is one more win away from creating a quarterback controversy with CJ Stroud. He saved their season last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The offense looked as competent as it's been all season. Yeah, give me Houston, man. I think D'Amico's doing a hell of a job with those guys. Yeah, they've struggled and everything as well, too, but he's keeping them together. They're playing hard. When anybody in this league wins games with backup quarterbacks, you have to give them credit. Maybe Jacksonville's a bunch of frauds and they're falling off, but you have to give Davis Mills credit. He waited for his turn. He went out there and he balled, and he dragged them all the way back in that game against the Jaguars. So, yeah, give me Houston. As long as they have that defense, Tennessee's a mess right now. They're going to lock them up.
A lot of divisional matchups this week, Jason. Another one that has some pretty significant impact. The Bears head to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The Bears are sitting atop the NFC North right now, which feels like this is a must-win for them. Minnesota's kind of been on an up-and-down trail. JJ McCarthy had to throw the ball 42 times last week, which I don't think is what they want to try and do. I really want to pick the Bears in this game, but Minnesota at home with that defense, I'm going to go Minnesota, but I don't feel good about it.
I think I'm going to pick Minnesota as well, too. This feels like a squeaky wheel Justin Jefferson game. He's talking about getting back to his old self and everything as well, too. Turns out that there's no cornerback in the league that can slow down Justin Jefferson just as quarterback. But, yeah, I think they're going to really get him the football as well, too. Aaron Jones is back, and they... Man, for all that Jordan Mason talk, man, he does not fucking play. So I don't want to hear it anymore about Jordan Mason. Like, this is the second regime that is like, listen, man, you're not better than the guy in front of you, but boo-hoo, the 49ers traded him. So, yeah, give me the Vikings. I do think they kind of force-feed Justin Jefferson and get him on track in this one. That secondary suspect for the Bears.
The Green Bay Packers head to East Rutherford, New Jersey to take on the New York Football Giants.
So cool. The defensive coordinator's from Jersey. That is so cool. I really did not know that. He has his entire family is going to be there. I had no idea.
Love that. Taking the Giants. Jameis is going to do it. Jameis is going to do it, buddy. Hey, listen, I have a brand. If I didn't pick Jameis Winston in his first start, honestly, this is a double whammy for me this week because not only is Jameis Winston getting the start, he's getting the start over Russell Wilson. So like that's just
it's pretty good.
I feel happy. It makes me happy. The Packers are probably going to win this game, but I got to pick Jameis Winston to go in and pick up the victory. So I'm going to take the New York Football Giants just for Jameis.
I can't wait to watch this game because Jameis Winston is the most fun person in the NFL. But if the Green Bay Packers lose this game, leave Matt LaFleur in fucking New Jersey,
Yep.
and that's why they're not gonna lose this game. The Giants are they're reeling defensively. And maybe they get that new head coach bump, because Daboll's gone, so that's in there too as well. But if the Green Bay Packers lose this game, leave Matt LaFleur there. Don't even let him get on the plane, man. So yeah, I got a hard time with this one. I'm gonna go Green Bay Packers.
The Bengals head to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, a Joe Flacco versus Aaron Rodgers rematch. The Flacco picked up the victory in last time. I'm going to go Rodgers and the Steelers this time. Just the home field advantage, home cooking, kind of a must win. The Steelers have backed themselves into a lot of must wins here because Baltimore's coming. Baltimore is here. Baltimore's arrived. They're going to start winning more games. They only have a 1-game advantage right now. I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this one.
Give me Flacco, man. He just whips up on the Steelers anytime that he plays them. I don't care where the game is at. Play it on Mars, play it in Pittsburgh. Is what it is, man. I just think, that defensively they don't have much to worry about here with the Steelers. The Steelers are completely out of sorts with this offense. Rodgers looked as bad as I've ever seen him play football last week against the Chargers. So yeah, give me the Bengals, and Joe Flacco makes people not wonder about where Joe Burrow is.
Maybe one of the more important games this season not this season, but this week. It doesn't feel like it's important. The Chargers head to Jacksonville to face the Jaguars. Jacksonville, if they win this game, they have a 58% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose this game, that drops to 26%. So a very, very important game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want to believe the odds, taking the Chargers.
Yeah, me too. The Jaguars are selling. They're done. This is it, right? It was a nice little run. Liam Cohen, it was cool, but yeah. Give me the Chargers. I think they're rounding back into shape finally. Defense is starting to get right back to where it was. If the offensive line could protect a little bit more, they would be, even more fine. But yeah, Rondé Gadsden's gonna play in this game. McConkey's heating up. Herbert's been playing very good, man. I don't know if there's many other people other than him and Matthew Stafford that are delivering the football from the pocket the way that they are. Yeah, give me the Chargers in this one.
Afternoon slate, and maybe the biggest game of the day. The Seahawks, who have not lost on the road, head down to SoFi Stadium to take on the Rams. Matthew Stafford's gone 3 games in a row with 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, which is a very impressive streak. Niner fans saw just how good he was last week. I really want to take the Seahawks in this game because it feels like they're rolling, but I'm gonna go with the Rams home cooking. I saw just how good that team can be. I know Devontae Adams is questionable with his back injury. But man, the Rams are so fucking good, man.
Yeah, the Rams are real good. I think they should win, but I do think that the 12s are going to take that stadium over because they're lit right now. So you better look, man. I know we joke a lot. If the 12s take over your stadium, I don't want to hear a fucking thing about Levi's North or anything like that. I think Seattle's descending upon that stadium. And if they take over that stadium, then the jokes will write themselves about how the Rams have no fans. So you better hope that you guys show up and that Seattle just says, nah, we'll just watch it at home. I don't think so, though. I think the 12s are going to be out there and they are going to take over that stadium, and I'm going to laugh.
Ravens head to Cleveland to take on the Browns, Jason. I don't know if you're as scared of the Browns for the Ravens as you are the Niners.
No,
but I'm going to take the Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens are rolling right now. It's different. The Ravens have handled them. I think they put up like a 40 burger on them, even with that defense or whatever. It's gonna be fine. They're rolling. Lamar's back. Everything's going good. Those divisional games are not as bad because I know what the Ravens can do. So yeah, give me the Ravens.
Another big game in that afternoon slate. Another huge divisional matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs head to Denver to take on the Broncos. I want to take the Broncos. I want to take the Broncos because I want to ignore the Chiefs, but Bo Nix, man, I don't see him coming through in this game. I could see Denver's defense containing the Chiefs offense, but when it comes down to it, do you trust Bo Nix to be able to outduel Patrick Mahomes at this moment in time? I don't. So I'm going to take Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City's coming, man, and they're inevitable. They're figuring it out, and here they come. So yeah, but yeah, Bo Nix is the. It's funny how many games they won, but Bo Nix is really holding that team back right now. How scary they could be. No J.K. Dobbins in this one, so R.J. Harvey is going to get all the entire workload probably for the rest of the season. It sounds like Dobbins really hurt him.
Yeah.
Like you gotta feel bad for Dobbins, dude. After fighting through everything, to have another injury, and this one's your foot now, where you're out for the season. You just feel for the guy because he has to rehab and work back. But yeah, Kansas City's coming, man. It's inevitable. Just set your watch to it.
Sunday Night Football, Jason Aponte, the game of the weekend. The Detroit Lions head to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. I'm not the only one here, Jason. I'm not very impressed with Philadelphia's offense.
Nobody is.
I think the Lions offense is better right now. I think both defenses are pretty talented. I'm going to give the edge to Detroit though, just for that offense.
Yeah, Detroit, man. And Dan Campbell's taking over the play calling. Like they're just doing whatever they want at this point. So yeah, give me the Lions in this one on the road. That Eagles offense, man. They just want to do enough to win games, but that's not going to be the type of game that you can play here against Detroit because Detroit's going to keep firing on you. So yeah, give me Detroit, man. It's going to be a fun one. I'm rooting for the Lions in this one.
Monday Night Football, Jason Aponte. We did it.
Oh.
I can watch it. ESPN, Disney,
right in time.
YouTube TV, right in time for the barn burner. The Dallas Cowboys head to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. I'm probably not going to watch this game because I have softball that night, Jason, and I don't really want to watch it. I'm going to take the Cowboys though. I think the Cowboys offense still pretty decent. I just don't see the Raiders doing anything. I know the Cowboys defense isn't very good, but Geno Smith also not very good. So I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Yeah, if the Cowboys don't win, oh man, the slander that's about to come your way. But I do expect the Raiders to put up some points. So if you're looking for players to play in this game in fantasy, I'm looking at Trey Tucker as somebody that you can play in a game that's probably going to be back and forth. Even Geno Smith is a streamer. Like I'm starting Geno Smith over Justin Fields. Now look, Justin Fields goes out there and he puts up 21 points finally, even though he can't throw the football. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I'll take the Cowboys in this one because if you don't win this one, oh man, the slander is going to be loud, especially after you made all those trades and when we were looking at you like for what.
Let's backtrack now to Sunday, 1:05 p.m. West Coast time, 4:05 East Coast time. The San Francisco 49ers head to State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona to take on the Cardinals. The Niners 6-4, the Cardinals 3-6. Niners 2.5-point favorites, total 48.5. I am going to take the San Francisco 49ers in this one, 28-17. I just think Arizona's missing too much on both sides of the ball. The Niners offense is just as healthy as it's been all year. I don't think the Cardinals offense has enough firepower to compete with this Niners defense come Sunday. So that's why I got them 17 points. Purdy throws for 300 yards. Pearsall has more than 100 receiving yards, 28-17 Niners.
Put me down for the same score. I don't know how you got to the same conclusion I did, but yeah, this 49ers offense is going to hum. I'm not really too worried about it. I think if they don't win this game or if they come out struggling, then we've got way bigger problems and bigger issues to discuss. But I do think the soft landing of being able to run the football, big Christian McCaffrey, big Brian Robinson game. Purdy gets eased back in. He's going to get some throws where guys are going to be running wide open. It's good to see Ricky Pearsall back, but that play action is really going to open things up. Kyle, don't come out throwing the football to start the game with Brock Purdy, man. Let's slow it down and let's get back to running on first down. You can do it against this defense, and they've just been very bad these last few weeks. So yeah, give me the 49ers.
Perfect, Jason. I like how we're on the same brainwave there. With the final score.
Well, and the hat too. Mine is just upside down. Yours is yours is just regular.
We got it. We look at
we didn't even plan it.
No, we didn't plan it. Sometimes things just work, Jason Aponte. I like it. Hey, exciting weekend for football, Jason. I'm also very excited. Have you watched season 3 of Welcome to Dairy yet? Or episode 3?
Nope.
Damn. We gotta have a conversation about it one time on these podcasts. It's a good show. I've enjoyed it.
No, I mean I'm dying to see it, but these fucking kids, man. Like, how the hell am I supposed? Yeah, how the hell am I supposed to watch anything? Like, damn kids.
Hey, damn kids. I would not know. Would not know yet, at least.
Good for you.
Hey, man.
Must be nice.
Hey, we get to watch football on Sunday though. That's all that matters to us, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's all it is. Also, real quick too for the channel members and everything. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter. I put it out there. The NFL denied my dispute for fair use on the Tatum Batoon film breakdown. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been streaming a lot this week because I've been disheartened by it. It's really been something that just makes me want to lose my passion for talking about it because, not that I really care about the money. It's just like, man, I put a lot of time and effort into this stuff. And for what, man? For the NFL to take, all the credit for it and take the money away and everything as well
Mhm.
too. God bless their heart. They need every single cent. So, yeah. So, but shout out to everybody who enjoyed that. It's just, I got to figure out a way to put out these film breakdowns where they don't get taken down and shadow banned by the NFL. It's just a lot of work, and I love talking X's and O's with you guys, and I love showing you guys stuff. But as long as the NFL just continues to take those things down, and they continue to be a bunch of fucking bullies or whatever about it, I'm probably not gonna do it if until I find a workaround or something like that. I mean, if I do it for members only, then you got to join the channel, as a member so you can see it. Maybe I can incentivize it that way. I'll do one weekly, for every game, but it's been frustrating. So if you haven't seen me streaming, some stuff has gotten in the way this week, but I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of lost some zest for talking football because of the NFL.
Hey, the NFL needs every dollar it can get, right, Jason
Yeah,
Aponte? It's
God
just
bless them. They're a mom and pop organization.
such a broke league. Hey, support small businesses, Jason Aponte. Wear your
Right.
NFL shield with pride,
Mhm.
just to get the word out because nobody watches football anymore. It's 2025, right, Jason? Bummer. Hopefully you get that figured out. But hey, this is a great time to remind people to subscribe to Jason Aponte's YouTube channel because he deserves all the support you guys can give. He's one of the best out there that does this on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So be sure to support it. Jason
That.
Aponte, it's been fun talking to you today. We'll be back on Monday to review the
No, we'll do
49ers
instant
game.
reaction this time if you
Oh, we
can.
got an instant
Yeah,
reaction.
yeah. It's just I was way too hungover, and that game sucked. So I was like, I'm not doing this shit. I was like, I'm going. I called my dad and I was like, what are you up to? He was like, I'm watching the Niners game. He's like, you're getting your ass beat. I was like, I'm coming over so we can hang out. Like I it's like sometimes you just have to choose yourself instead of this team. Like you just have to choose yourself, and that's like midway through the fourth quarter, I was like, I'm choosing myself. I'm just gonna go take a walk and go touch some grass. I don't want to talk about football.
I love it, Jason. So we'll be back for an instant reaction, and we'll be back on Monday to break it down. But Jason Aponte, until then, as always,
Let's go Niners. Shout out to Aaron Judge. You still the man.
let's go Niners. Aaron Judge is my MVP.
Yeah. Burn.